Well, welcome back to another game of Play Action Football. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator at the Clark and Addison Gaming Company, which has published Play Action Football. In this game, we're going to finish up the fourth quarter of our game between the 1991 Buffalo Bills and Chicago Bears. We are into the fourth quarter. It is now 21-19, Buffalo over Chicago. An eventful third quarter, but Chicago scored 10. And Buffalo put up a touchdown. Buffalo is driving. They have the ball on their own 39. With the beginning of the fourth quarter here, it'll be first down and 10 for Buffalo. We are still sort of into the game. I'm going to go with the balanced offense. If you missed out on some of the new changes that I'm adding in, go back to the last video. The one about trying out the new mechanics. So you can go back to that one and see some of the new game mechanics that we're putting in. But you'll pick up on them pretty quick. If you've played the game, you'll see that, hey, that's a little bit different. One big difference is there are three play styles, play calling styles. So one is balanced, 50-50-ish run and pass, which was the normal from playing from before. That's just what it was before. But now there's a run heavy and a pass heavy offense, so you can run whichever type of offense you want to. All right, first down and 10 for Buffalo at their own 39. They lead by 2 points over the Bears. This will be a medium pass against a base defense. And a medium, so the Bears run a 4-3, so that's going to be a +1. They already have a +2 adjustment on offense. The Bills do. That you can see their offense was quite prolific. They have a +3. Them and the Oilers are the only two with a +3. So they have a +3 here because a medium pass against a 4-3 is a +1. So then we add that to our D10 roll, and we got a 15. 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 on a medium pass is going to be a D10 plus 15. So that's going to be good for 16 yards. And that will be a first down completion. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 yards takes it to the Chicago 45. And that'll be first and 10 from Chicago's side of the field. Nice pickup by Jim Kelly in the offense. This will be a screen pass against a base defense. So that's also a +1. So they go to a +3. 13 on a screen pass is going to be good for 5 yards. That takes the ball down to the 40. And that'll bring up second down and 5. A deep ball against a base defense is a +2. So now they're a +4. 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 on a deep ball is still an incompletion as they can't connect, but almost off the fingertips, I guess. And that's going to bring up third down and 5 for the Bills. They took the shot. Third down. This is a medium pass against the blitz. Medium against the blitz is a 0, so that's a +2 to the offense. 16 on a medium pass is D10 plus 10. So that's going to be 15 more yards. So 10 and 15 takes it down to the 25. That'll be a first down play. As the Bills now eating up some yardage and time. 13-15 left, and it'll be first and 10 from the 25. Screen pass against a base defense is also a +1. So +3 overall. 15 on a screen is good for 6 yards. Takes it down to the 19. That'll bring up second down and 4 for the Bills. I'm keeping just kind of high-level statistics here, nothing super detailed, so I'm not rolling off of the player finder or anything unless I see a touchdown or a long play or something, just to kind of get a feel for who's doing what in the game. Neil Anderson with a 53-yard touchdown run. He's also got a 57-yard touchdown catch. So that right there is 110 yards in total offense for the Bears running back. And Jim Kelly with 2 TDs, one to Andre Reed, one to Thurman Thomas, and Thomas also with the 3-run touchdown run. All right, so we got 2nd down and 4, 12:45 left in this game, and the Bills are driving. 2nd down play is going to be another deep ball, and this one is against the base defense. So that's a +2, so that makes them a +4. 4 + 4 is 8. 8 on a deep ball is going to be incomplete, but there is an opportunity for a penalty there. So let's see if there is a penalty. A 7, no penalty, and so that's just going to result in an incompletion. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 4 for the Bills. 3rd down play, this is a short pass against the blitz. That's a 0, so they're a +2 on every play. So 12 on a short pass is 6 yards, and that's going to be a 1st down pickup as they get a couple of yards past the sticks. Nice pitch and catch for 6 yards. And that takes us to 12 minutes left in the game. Inside the red zone now. The Bills are inside the red zone. This is a screen to a blitz. Now that's a +2 on the play call. And they already have a +2, so that's +4. 7 + 4 is 11. 11 on the screen is D6 + 1. So 7 yards takes it down to the 6. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 from the 6-yard line. They can pick up a 1st down without scoring. This is an inside run to a base defense, and that's a tough place to go. They're going to be, that cuts down their advantage to a +1. 10 + 1, it was an 8. 8 and 2 is 10. 10 + 1 is 11. 11 on an inside run is good for 1, 2, 3 yards. And that'll be a 1st down as they get right to the sticks. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Bills. Got 10:45 left in this one, and the Bills are knocking at the door. Touchdown could help put this one away. This is a short pass against a goal line defense, and that's going to be a 0 on the play call. So +2 overall. 11 on a short pass is D6 + 2. That's a 3, and that's going to be caught right at the goal line, and that will be a touchdown. So 3-yard touchdown pass for Jim Kelly as he gets it to Thomas out of the backfield. So 3 yards on the TD. Let's see if they make the extra point. The extra point is a 97, so it needs to be 1 to 97, and it's up and good. And the Bills put 7 on the board in the 4th. They now take a 28 to 19 lead. So the Bears have some work to do to get back into this one as the Bills are going to kick off. Good part is the Bears have had an excellent return game. They've had a 70-yard kickoff return, a 90-yard kickoff return, and a 30. So they have been doing pretty good in that department. It's only a matter of time before they bust one for a touchdown. So let's see. We don't need all these. So a four on a kickoff. I don't know why I did that. 4 on a kickoff is going to be 60 yards. And so that goes down to the 5. So if you just go straight down the line, 60 yards is to the 5-yard line. And the return is a 2. A 2 is a return of 13 yards. So that takes it out to the 18. Not a great return that time. All right. And it will be 1st and 10, and the Bears are going to take over. They have 10 minutes left. They need a couple of scores. Let's go ahead and we'll start out with the pass-heavy offense. Let's see if they can get something rolling in the passing game. Last pass they threw was an interception, so we'll see about the screen pass to a base defense is, which Buffalo runs a 3-4. That's a -1. The Bears have a +1 adjustment overall, so that makes them even on this play. So 6 on a screen pass is going to be a quarterback hurry. Now we have a new mechanic for that. So we're going to roll, when we get a quarterback hurry, we're going to roll off the quarterback hurry chart. That's going to be a 9, and that's going to lead to a scramble. And if you get a scramble, an 8 or a 9, then right next to it we have the scramble chart. So what happens on the scramble? It's a 1. Oh my gosh, it's a fumble. It did hit the die, so we're going to try that again. We'll see. All right, so it's a 5. A 5 is going to be a sack for a D6. I don't, it hit the die, so I'm going to call that something different. So there's a sack for -5 yards. And that takes them back to the 13. That'll bring up 2nd down and 15. So sack number 4 for the Buffalo defense. You can even find who did it. So a 6, that would be Wright. Wright is the nose tackle. So if you're familiar with them, I remember Bennett, I remember Talley, and Kelso. That's really the only guys I remember from that defense. So maybe if you're a Buffalo fan, you remember who Wright is. He might even be famous. I have no idea. So we have so that play got blown up, led to a sack on the scramble, as Jim Harbaugh couldn't get away. And it's going to be 2nd down and 15. So we look at our 2nd and long chart. This is going to be a draw play against the nickel blitz. So draw against the nickel blitz is a 0. So the Bears retain their +1. They're going to need it. 7 on a draw play goes for 0 yards. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and long for the Bears. 3rd and long. This is a medium pass against a nickel. Medium against a nickel is a -1, so that makes them no adjustment. 12 on a medium pass. D10 +6. So they need every bit of a 10. They need a 9 or a 10 to pick up the 1st down. They get a 2. So that's good for 8. Takes it to the 21. That's going to bring up 4th down. And 8 yards on the pass. And what do you do here? You got 8 minutes left. You're down by 9 points. You need 2 scores. So I think at this point you've got to throw the ball. And you've got a +1. So let's go ahead and throw the medium pass. They get a nice high roll. Let's see how this works. So medium pass, it's 4th down and 7. So medium pass against a nickel blitz. That's a 0. So they retain their +1 advantage. So 16 + 1 is 17. 17 on a medium pass. Chance for a penalty. So let me see what the penalty is first. It's a 2. 2 is a defensive pre-snap penalty. All right. So we look on our pre-snap penalties, which is here. We're looking at the defense. They're all +5. So a 2 is encroachment on the defense. What a boneheaded play from the Bills defense. That's their 2nd penalty. So that will bring up 4th down and 2. We don't move the clock or anything, especially on a pre-snap penalty. So 2nd down and 2, which changes the equation just a little bit. So let's go ahead and run. Let's run an inside play against a 4-3 defense. That's generally a pretty good idea. You get a +1 advantage on a regular defensive call. If they happen to run a nickel or something, then that's even better. So inside run against, now it's changed a little bit. So our equation went from this defensive play to this one just because of the yardage necessary. So it is a base defense. So inside run against a base defense, that's a +1. That's good. They already have a +1, so it's +2. 11 plus 2 is 13. On an inside run is D6 plus 3. So they're guaranteed the first down. And they pick up a couple more. So that's 5 yards on the pickup. And that takes it out to the 31. Good job from the Bears. And that was a killer defensive penalty with the encroachment. Just inexcusable for the Bills in that situation. But sometimes in big situations, you just see that kind of thing. Brings up first down and 10 for the Bears. We'll let the play calling sheet call some of these plays. This is an inside run against a base again. Again, a +2 overall. A 10 on an inside run is good for 4 yards. So that takes it out to the 35. The clock is running, 7.5 minutes left in this game. The Bears are down by 2 scores. They need an 8 and a field goal, or they need a 7 and a field goal. They're going to have to stop Buffalo at some point in there as well, or get an onside kick. So second down and 6 from their own 35. This is going to be an outside run. Of course, on the pass heavy, I hit on all the runs, right? So an outside run to a base defense. Not as good as an inside run, but they still retain their +1. So 12 on an outside run. D6 plus 2, so that's good for 4 more yards. Takes it to the 39. That's going to bring up third down and 2 for the Bears. Third and 2, playbook wide open for them, and they're going to drop back for a medium deep pass. So this is going to be against a base defense. That's a -2. That's a tough place to go, so that makes them a -1 overall. So basically we take away this 1 right here, and it's a 9. 9 on a medium pass is going to lead to a quarterback hurry. Not every play on the quarterback hurry is bad. Some of them are just incomplete, but we do have some things going on there. So quarterback hurry, it's a 4. 4 is incomplete as he gets hurried on the pass, and that will lead to another 4th down. 4th down and 2. That incompletion, just 15 seconds off the clock. Another 4th down. 4th and 2, we're going to let the chart decide. It will be an outside run against a base defense. That's a 0, so they retain their +1 advantage. 14 plus 1 is 15 on an outside run. D10 plus 2. So that's good for 7 yards. Nice pickup on the play as they take it out to their own 46. That'll be a 1st and 10 with a nice 6-yard pickup on 4th down. As, who was it? A 3. That's going to be Neil Anderson getting to the outside and getting up the field. All right, 1st and 10 for the Bears. I'm in the pass-heavy offense, but they keep running the ball. They finally drop back and throw it. This is a medium against a base. So they'll be -1 overall. So that's like a 13 on a medium pass. It's good for 11 yards. And they're into Buffalo territory. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Buffalo 43. They're driving, but they're not getting the sort of big shots that they need to get down the field quickly. Buffalo playing a little soft defense. Excuse me. This is another medium pass against a base blitz. That's a -1, so on the blitz, it's only a -1, so that makes them even. 11 on a medium pass is incomplete, as the blitz causes a little problem for the Bears offense. Harbaugh is off the mark, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. This is a short pass against a base. That makes everything even on the play. 9 on a short pass is also incomplete. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 10 for the Bears. 3rd and 10 play. This is definitely 4 down territory. They've already hit on a couple of 4th down plays. This is another medium pass against a base. Makes them -1 overall. 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 on a medium pass just into the incomplete. You can see with that, they had a 12 initially. That would have been a completion, but as it is incomplete, and the Bears kind of down to their last option here, last opportunity. 4th down and 10. They are going to run a medium pass against the nickel blitz. So the Bills come with the blitz. Medium against a nickel blitz is a 0. So +1 overall. A 4 is a terrible roll, so that becomes a 5. 5 on a medium pass is a sack. Another sack on the day for another 5 yards. Sack number 5 for the Bills defense. And that sack, as Harbaugh tries to keep the play alive, but ultimately he takes a 5-yard loss, and that's going to push it back to the 48. So that would be the new starting line of scrimmage for the Bills, as they take over on downs from their own 48. And probably just the end of the day for the Bears. The Bears. So 28-19 is our score. 11-point lead for the Bills. The Bills are going to get into the run-heavy offense and see if they can run some clock here. 4.5 minutes left in this one. The Bears can stop the clock. We'll see if they get some natural stops here or not. This will be a short pass against a base defense. That's a -1. So +1 overall for the Bills. 11 becomes a 12 on a short pass. That's 6 yards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 4. As Jim Kelly completes on the short pass. 2nd down and 4. This is an inside run against the base defense. And that's going to be a -1. So +1 overall. 12 becomes 13. D6 plus 3 is 7 more yards. So that takes it down to the 39. That'll be 1st and 10 for the Bills, as they get 7 and a 1st down on that run. Takes us down to 3.5 minutes left in the game. The Bills, this is a screen to a base. Screen to a base is a +1, so that makes them a +3 overall. 15 plus 3 is 18. And on a screen pass, D10 plus 3. So that's good for 4 yards. It's down to the 35. And that'll bring up 2nd down as Kelly completes another pass. Having an excellent day. We'll total up everything at the end, see how many total yards they had passing and rushing in this one. 2nd down, this is a short pass against a base. Short against a base is a -1. And that makes them a +1. So a 19 on a short pass, D10 plus 5. That's good for 7 yards. And that'll take it down to the 28. And that brings up 1st and 10 from the 28. I'm not calling any timeouts in this one. This game is largely over. If the Bears can't stop them, that's just how it is. So 7 yards on the 1st down pass. It is a screen pass to a base defense. So +3 overall. 15 on a screen. They're getting some really favorable rolls here. That's 6 yards. Takes it down to the 22. And we are to the 2-minute warning. A 2 is an outside run to a base defense. That's a 0, so +2 on this. 10 plus 2 is 12 on an outside run. D6 plus 2. That's good for 5 yards, and that's another pickup of a 1st down. Now we're down to 1.5 minutes. So 5 yards on their 30th carry of the game. 1st and 10, outside run to a base defense. Makes them +2 still overall. 6 + 2 is 8, and that's good for 1 yard as the Bears stiffen up a little bit, and that is 1 yard. And they have 1-2 plays left, so they're going to kneel the ball twice. So that's 1 and 2, and that's going to end our game. So we'll say -1 and -1. That's how they count those. So that's -1, and then the last is 4th down. We'll call it like that. They run out the clock. No need to score more. So the final on this one is going to be 28-19, and the Bears do not come up with a score in the 4th. So you can see our scoring here. The Bears started off hot with a 9-0 lead after the 1st. Buffalo came back with 2 touchdowns in the 2nd. Chicago did not score. And then Chicago came back with 10 in the 3rd, and Buffalo scored 7. That put us at 21-19, and then Buffalo put them away with that, 3-yard touchdown pass, Kelly to Thurman Thomas out of the backfield, and that made it 28-19, and that was sort of the end of it there. You can see 5 penalties for a lot of yards for the Bears, only a couple penalties for the Bills, but the Bills with 3 sacks and an interception, so no sacks, no interceptions for Chicago, and really the difference there. This period right here was pretty bad for Jim Harbaugh. He had an excellent, pretty good first half and a pretty terrible second half, but once Jim Kelly got past this little rough spot, he was on fire, and good running here from Thurman Thomas as well. All right, let's go ahead and I'll pause the video and I'll come back with the final totals. All right, we're back with the post-game wrap-up. Buffalo wins this one 28-19. And let's go through the stats here. For the Buffalo offense, passing 28 of 42 for 248 yards, 8.9 yards per catch, 3 TDs, and no picks for Jim Kelly and the offense. Rushing 33 attempts for 139 yards. It's good for 4.2 yards per attempt and 1 touchdown. They did lose a fumble here early in the game. For the Bears, 19 of 35. What is that percentage-wise? For the Bills, it was 67%. 19 of 35, that's 54% for Jim Harbaugh. And 54%, 19 of 35, passing 184 yards, 9.7 yards per catch. Helped out a lot by this 57. There was a lot of nothing going on through here, though. And 1 TD, 1 interception. Interception here toward the end of, in the 3rd quarter, I believe. He was sacked 5 times by the Bills defense, which affected their team rushing number. So 19 carries for 113 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, 5.9 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, 1 fumble. They also lost a fumble early in the game. When we compare it with the actual numbers, these two teams did play in 1991. They just played in Buffalo, kind of early in the season, September, October. And for Buffalo, it was 19 of 29 for 303, 28 of 42 here. Threw the ball a little bit more. Chicago threw the ball a lot more, 22 of 42 for 269. Sacks, 3 sacks for 23 yards. They had 3, 7, 12, 17, 22 yards worth of sacks here on 5 sacks. 280 net passing yards. So we're at 248 here, 269 for the Bears. The Bears had a better day offensively than they showed here, although they ran the ball much better in my game with 28 for 84, 19 for 113 here, 34 for 142, 33 for 139, basically the same thing, couple touchdowns, but we had 1. So pretty close to their actual performances. Penalties, 7 for 43 for Buffalo. They only had 2 for 20. And 12 for 89, 5 for 78 here for the Bears. On first downs, they had 13, and the Bills had 25, so that's pretty close to their Bills' first down number. And fumbles, 2 fumbles for Buffalo, but each team split a fumble here. All right, I didn't count time of possession or anything like that in this one. Fourth down conversions, Chicago had like 3 in this game because they just had to make something happen there on their final drive, but came up short. All right, this is play action football. This is playing with some new sorts of things. So we used all the different pieces and components you can see here. There's a run heavy, a pass heavy, and a balanced play calling sheets. And basically this has changed and this has changed, both the defense and the offense. It doesn't change their effect on each other. It's just how often they're called. And you still have the goal line on the back. So if you want to run this exclusively, you can. Balanced is basically 50-50-ish. Pass heavy would be like 60-40-ish. And run heavy would be 60-40-ish for the run. I'm not going to give you exact numbers on that because the dice decide. So it's a 1 to 6 roll that decides those things. You can see this is a pass heavy team, passing a little bit more pass. I would say anything like 58% or more is you're going to get in kind of the pass heavy. 55% passing, 45% rushing. You can see here that it was almost balanced out. 42% passing plays and 42 passing plays, 33 rushing plays. For the Bears, who used they used the passing offense just a little bit at the end, but mostly I was doing the balanced. They had 36 passing plays and 18. That should have been 18. That bumps their yards per carry up a little bit, but that should be 18 rushes. Oh. Gosh, that should be 18 here. All right, so 19 or 35 with the completions, 18 rushes for 113. So whatever that it would be, like 6.1, something like that. So that is going to affect the play calls. So more passes than rushes here. They had 30. 36 attempts, I guess. So they had 36 attempts. And in the game, what did they have? They had 42. So they played a little bit to where they needed to be. They lost this game by a score of 35-20. You can see their first loss of the season to the Bills. It came to the Bills. And so, I don't know. I feel like it adds a lot to the game to have those different types of things you can do. So at the end of the game, you want to run the ball more. And that's what Buffalo was doing, just eating up clock here at the end of the game. I've also changed out I revamped the layout for the special plays. So all your punting is here. And if you have a blocked kick, even if it's a blocked field goal, that's going to be all blocked kicks. What's the result of the blocked kick? But here's your punting, your coffin corner punts, kickoff and return, onside kicking, blocked field goals. So if you roll a 1 to 5 on a field goal attempt is going to trigger having to roll off of this blocked kick. There's a fumble chart here. So for runs and screen passes, you'll use this one. For short passes and any returns, so a kickoff or a punt return with a fumble, you'll use this one. And then for a medium pass, a fumble is here. I don't know if you're going to run into a fumble on a medium pass, so I have to look and see if that's possible. Interceptions, short, medium, and deep passes. So, this is just you're throwing the ball farther down the field, so it's going to be farther down the field, right? So that's going to be your averages are farther past the line of scrimmage. We have a breakaway result, so anytime you roll a 20 on here, or if you roll a 10 on a kickoff or a punt return, then you have an option to roll on the breakaway chart. 4 of those are going to be no breakaway. You just take whatever the result is, and then 5 of them are going to be, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them are going to have some sort of breakaway result. So you would basically add this yardage to whatever you had already calculated or whatever it was. We've seen this already on the quarterback hurry here. You see a quarterback hurry on these passes. Even on a screen pass, we have the quarterback hurry. And then you roll off of this chart here. You're going to get 5 options that it'll just be incomplete and the play is dead as it was. And then here we have a pass breakup. So that's a defender knocking the ball down. We have a pass tip. If it's tipped, you roll off here and it can be either an interception or an incompletion. We have a scramble, a couple of scramble opportunities, and then you roll here. We saw that. So it can be a scramble for plus yardage for the quarterback. We almost had a fumble. I think we had a fumble early in the game. I just didn't show that one. And then there's a sack opportunity, which is ultimately what we had, and a penalty. We have coaches challenges that you can use. 1991, obviously we did not have the challenge system. So if you don't want to use that, you don't have to. You want to be a little bit more just to the way it was. And then the weather, you can do that before the game if there is a stadium with weather, which you find the stadiums in the game guide for that season, and it tells you what the weather is, what the weather effects are. For penalties, I put them out in pre-snap penalties and post-snap penalties. So if you get, like, let's say this one here, and it winds up being, you get a yellow, you're going to roll off of the penalty chart, which I just showed. So the order is you would roll here, and if you get one of these pre or post snap penalties, then you're going to roll off of either the pre-snap or the post-snap offense or defense. Post-snap penalties, like if you had this one here, that's an outside run. Let's say it was on the defense, you would roll, and if it's a 2, then it's not going to be pass interference on a rushing play to the outside. It's going to be a late hit for 15 yards. So some of these are passing only type of plays: illegal contact, pass interference, roughing the quarterback. There's no roughing the quarterback necessarily on an outside run play, but you could get a face mask. So try to put those out as much as possible. There's no offensive pass interference on a rushing play, so turn that into a helping the runner. So just look and see, is it a passing or a rushing play? And then some of these carry over. There's holding on both a passing and a rushing play. Illegal use of the hands is the same thing, and tripping. So some plays, some penalties cross over regardless of the play, and some penalties are specific to that type of play. And then the last part is our new revamped cards. So you can see here, this is, you get the home and away team with the single chart. So this is league average, and then I always create these numbers here based off of the league average. So how much better than the league are you, or how much worse than the league are you? So it makes sense that we could use a league average chart. Before, I was taking and creating a new chart for every single team based on their specific statistics, which could have skewed the results some, actually, because not only am I putting their number based off of the norm, but I'm making all their play calls come off their own sheet as well. So this might actually even the game out a little bit more than what it was before. Plus, it makes these things easier to create. So I don't have to go through every single one and just sort of reshift, and because I was going through all the numbers and making sure that it hit their yards per catch and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot to go through. And so now I can systematize some of these. You can see here, they would come 4 to a sheet. So that's also a difference. So you're going to see that they come like this. So this is how this actual sheet was constructed. I can tell because there's a bigger margin on the tops and the bottoms. And you can see that it comes as an 8.5 by 11 sheet. They're going to come 4 teams to a sheet, and they're going to be in alphabetical order, so it'll be more like this. This is how the sheet looked before I cut it. So they'll come in alphabetical order, but you're told which division that they're in. So once you cut them, you can put them into their correct divisions. I can imagine once you cut these real nice on a cardstock that'll look really good. But you can see here it's got their team colors. Some team colors like Green Bay is the green and the gold. The green is dark enough I can add the secondary color. Some other Washington, the Redskins is like that, and a couple other teams. But typically, it's the team color in the background with a white. You're going to get all of the player finder players. You're going to get more of them now, so up to 6 for each, with a 1 to 10 roll, which should be a little bit more specific, I guess, a little bit more detailed and accurate. So before I was using a 1 to 6 roll. Now I'm using a 1 to 10 roll, so it should be a little bit more accurate. And then you also get all of the players. So before I was only giving you 10 because I was using the 1 to 10. But now I've just put all of the starters on offense and defense. And then down here, the kicking system is not new, but it's a new way of doing it. This number represents the top number that you can roll before the kick is missed. So on an extra point, a 1 to 98 is going to be good here. A 1 to 97 is good for the Bills. 1 to 99 is good for the Bengals. And a 1 to 94 is good for the Bears. Anything above that number is going to be a miss. So maybe simplify it a little bit. It's actually going to be a lot more accurate because now it's actually based off of a 1 to 100 roll as opposed to a 1 to 10 roll, which those are in like 10% increments, and like a 1 on the old cards was a missed extra point, which is a 10% miss rate, which is not accurate, obviously. So these are 9.8, which I guess you would have no way to know that on the old cards. So the kicking is going to be more accurate on this one, especially the extra points. And we still have our rushing and passing. That's just really for your reference to see how much each team throws or passes the ball. And, that'll kind of determine which play chart that you use, play calling chart. For the kicking, I just use a D100 with a D10, and that gives you like a 59 or a 79, 75. So that's kind of how you read that. Otherwise, what you need to play the game is going to be you need 2 D10s and you need 2 D6s. That's really the requirements for the game. All these other things I have are just markers for the field. So when you get the game, it does not come with dice. It comes with everything you see here, all these charts and everything, just not the dice. You'll get the field and the clock, which you can keep track of things here. It gives you a little primer on how to run the clock. So what's 30 seconds, what type of plays are 15 seconds, and then a reminder about all plays inside 2 minutes of the second and fourth quarters. And then you'll also get this. I'm also working on a new score sheet that is more detailed. So you'll have the home team on one side and you'll have the away team on the other side. In fact, let me go get that. All right, so hopefully you can see here this new, more detailed score sheet. You'll get your same, line score up here, your date, your field, your weather, your adjustments. Everything will be there just like before. Nothing has changed necessarily, except you just get more detail and levels of detail here. So your away team, your timeouts, your challenges. And you would put your quarterback name in here. And then for each one, just like we mark off how many yards here, very similar concept. But you would just do that for each of these here. And then we have our totals down here. Same for rushing. But you would have all of your rushers. It's got room for up to 4 players to put in there, and then you would just put the rushing attempts out here. So you might have one guy with that many, and one with that many, and one with that many, and one with that many. And so you'll be able to see all of your rushers at a glance. Here's your total rushing yardage. Same with receiving. So you put all of your receivers here that catch a pass, and then you can put the yardage and how many catches for each one. You got your kicking, field goals. You would obviously put the distances or whether it's made or missed. Extra points, kickoffs, kickoff returns, punts returns. So same thing here. I'm doing the same thing on this sheet over here with kickoffs and punts and stuff like that. It's just a little bit more explicit here. And then on defense, you can put a defensive player with sacks, interceptions, tackles for loss, and pass deflections. So there's a place to keep defenders as well. I've also considered tackles, the possibility of determining a tackle on a play. You could always roll off of your defensive players here, and if it comes to one of these two guys, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then these two safeties could be 10 together, and then you roll. If it's between the two safeties, you roll again. 1 to 5 is one guy, 6 to 10 is another guy, and then you could assign your tackles that way. 5.5 is the most common roll for a D10. So more often than not, you're going to roll in the middle, which would put your linebackers, as you know, most teams, their linebackers are the ones that make the most tackles. So players from here to here are going to be typically your players that make the most tackles. So I think that would work. I would have to try that out. I've not tried that. And then you can see on the back side, you don't get all the extra stuff at the top. You do get all of the same things with the passing, rushing, receiving, and defense. So you'll be able to put those up here, and then you just keep track, of your scores up here. So I will try that out with the game and just see how things go. That way I can specifically say this running back had 4 carries for 32 yards. This running back had 12 carries for 78 yards or whatever. This receiver, 4 catches, 38 yards, that type of thing. That way we kind of keep track of things, and stuff should even out because you can see that these are, 1, 2, or 3. So fully 1/3 of the catches went to Andre Reed, 20% went to Thurman Thomas, 20% went to, I think it's James Lofton, 20% went to McKellar, and then 10% of the catches went to Beebe in 1991. So it's sort of graded out that way. Jim Kelly got 10% of the rushing yards Actually, I did it by rushing attempts, not rushing yardage. So if you think that that's a dumb way to do it, you can let me know, but I'm trying to get the ball to the right people. So I'm thinking about attempts, catches, rushes, that sort of thing. How many actual interceptions were made? How many actual sacks were made by who? This is Bruce Smith. Is that Smith? No, that's not Bruce Smith. Who is that? The strong safety. So Cornelius Bennett, 40% of all the sacks on the team came from Cornelius Bennett. And basically I add these top 6 together, and then I take their percentage of that total. So that's how I come to that. And then sometimes you just have to massage it a little bit, but most of the time the numbers just come out fine and spot on and all that kind of stuff. One of the things I really like about this is there's a lot less manual labor that goes into this. So I'm hoping that this is going to lead to a lot more seasons that I can put out more quickly. All of this information up here, I can just put in their offensive and defensive stats. All my formulas spit out everything I need to do. So really putting their base defense is about the only manual thing I need to do there. All of these numbers here with the offensive play calling and the kicking game, those are all automated, but I haven't automated the player names, so that still has to be something that I figure out. These are pretty easy. It's just a matter of pulling in the data, but these are a little bit more tricky because I have to do a little bit of figuring, but it's not so bad once you get into it. So if that's all I have to do, that's going to speed up everything a lot more. And then all the other charts and stuff are kind of ready to go. Run heavy, pass heavy, those are sort of self-explanatory in a lot of ways. And then, you know, any sort of special plays, kind of things that I need to make changes to. So I'm really hoping that this is going to speed things up just a little bit with creation. But I haven't put out this 91 set because I've been working on it for a long time. You can see that I'm putting work into like making the game better, streamlining some things, improving some other things, giving you more data to work with in an easier way, making this chart more, but also easier to consume has been a goal of mine. Trying to get all of my charts into portrait orientation, also a goal of mine, because maybe one day I can create a booklet out of it and you can have physical copies to be able to use and purchase. So that's also, you know, something I'm moving toward a little bit more as I learn more about the Game Crafter and being able to create those opportunities for more physical products. Yep. I'm going to have a second video because I'm going to show you another thing that I think I'm going to introduce with this game that I've been working on. It's been a part of things for a while. I haven't made it super public, just kind of with testers and on the Facebook group. I think I posted it. But it's a resource for simulating games. And I've converted it over to a dice roll. And so I think I'm going to include that with this 91 set. So look for a second video. I don't want to tack it on to the end of this one. It's already an hour long. So I will put it in a second video. And I'll walk through and I'll show you both the digital version and the electronic version. And we'll get into it. But if you haven't subscribed to this channel, click on subscribe. Or if you just like this video, give it a thumbs up. You can do both. Those two actions are not mutually exclusive. If you really like it, share it with your friends, your audience, other gamers that you converse with or talk to. That is one of the ways that this thing is going to grow. I can't do everything. So if you like this game and you want more people to know about it, record a video of you playing on YouTube or record a video of how to play it. As you understand it. There are 2 seasons now, 2023, or 3 seasons, 2023, 1985, and 2007. If these changes work out, I will go back and I will make the changes on and overlay them onto those seasons. If you've already purchased them, you'll just be able to go and re-download the seasons. And so if you haven't purchased them, once I make those changes, you'll be able to get them. So if this rolls out and everything looks good on 1991, people seem happy about it, I will go back and do those changes to the others. Now, the other games play just fine. There's nothing wrong with the old way of doing it. It's just there's some extra layers here. But you can go back and watch some of the old videos that I have. There's nothing wrong with the math or nothing wrong with what's going on with them. I just think this is going to be a faster way to get things out, because now I only have to do the single play action or the play results chart here, and then that's for league average. And then once I get into each individual card, you'll see them against the league average. So yeah, I appreciate everybody's support of this game. I know we waited for a long time for it to come out, and I'm still tinkering with it. This is just the nature of doing this. The more people that play it, the more suggestions I have. Some of these suggestions are from a long time ago, before I released the game officially, and people are still, they're still giving suggestions. They're still talking about different things. So I hope more and more people see this and decide to play it. It's a game that you can play in under 2 hours. You can see that we are, it's about 45 minutes or 40 minutes per quarter. You can see the quarter went pretty fast, especially after we started running the ball. If you want to run the ball, you know, the quarters are going to move pretty quickly because it's 30 seconds per play, and, you know, whatever that is. Really, it's like 7 minutes worth of plays, 7.5 minutes in 15. So it's, you know, you can bust through a game pretty quickly if you're running the ball mostly. And you're not getting a lot of penalties and extra little things that you're doing. I've tried to make it so that all of the different things that you do in the game, they flow, they make sense. You kind of waterfall, you move from one thing to another. And I think even with just having the single sheet and these two teams up here, the switch over between teams is even easier because you don't have to do anything. You just kind of switch over in your mind who's on offense and who's defense. And then for what the detail you get out of the quarterback hurry chart, and then going to a scramble or a tip pass, or the detail you get out of a penalty chart or something like that, it doesn't hinder the game. Like, it doesn't cause you to slow down and now I have to figure out this whole hullabaloo thing. It's like, roll off the quarterback hurry. Most of the time it's going to be incomplete. If it's a scramble, one more roll, bam, you're into the play. It's not that difficult, you know, to do these different things. And then the math is not hard. You're doing it on every play. I'm calling it out. You know, it's this plus this and all this. But, you know, once you start playing, it actually goes considerably quicker because you're just doing that math in your head and then you're making the changes on the fly. All right. Like I said, there's going to be a second video, so look for that one somewhere close to this one, whether you're on the YouTube channel or you're seeing it somewhere else. It's going to be about a simulation chart that we're going to use, and that's always been in play, but I've converted that chart to something that you'll be able to use cards and dice as well. And the beauty of that is you'll have, it's a bit of a black box behind there, and you know, on the digital version, you don't have access to a lot of those things. You just input the numbers, click the button, and the results come out. But here you'll be able to actually see and use the results. So it'll be cool, and we'll be able to make a difference between all the different teams, which I don't know how much difference it'll actually make, but it may make some difference in your replays. We'll see. Okay, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.